Picture this. You're holding your phone, and your sink is just aggressively leaking water all over the kitchen floor.
Oh, the worst.
Right. It's a total nightmare, and you desperately need a plumber. So you type, like, emergency plumber near me into the search bar.
Yeah, you're in full panic mode at that point.
Exactly. And in the absolute blink of an eye,
Yeah.
you scroll past 3 options, you tap the fourth, look at the screen for maybe a few seconds, and you just make a decision.
A huge decision, honestly.
Right, a decision that involves inviting a total stranger into your home and handing them your credit card? I mean, how on earth do we actually make that leap of faith so fast?
It is a really profound psychological leap.
Yeah.
We process just a staggering amount of digital information in those few seconds to essentially calculate a threat level.
And usually when we are trying to diagnose a problem or verify something, we expect a clean binary answer, like an X-ray.
Right, yeah.
Like you break your arm, the doctor points to a jagged white line on the film and says, there it is, broken. But when we step into the world of online reputation and, digital consumer behavior, that X-ray machine is utterly useless.
It really is.
We're operating in completely murky waters here, which brings us to our mission for today's deep dive.
Yes, I love this topic.
We are going to deconstruct exactly how we and the customers we all interact with decide who to trust online. Our sources today center around this fascinating concept called the 7-second trust test.
It is such a brilliant framing, honestly, because, 7 seconds isn't some rigid, scientifically peer-reviewed metric where someone is standing behind you with a stopwatch.
Right, it's not a literal countdown.
Exactly. It's more a creative way to encapsulate the sheer velocity of that initial human judgment. It's the catalyst.
Just that gut feeling.
Yeah, in those first fleeting moments, your brain forms a gut-level hypothesis about a business, and that initial feeling triggers a surprisingly intense, multi-channel verification process to either confirm or completely shatter that first impression.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the scale of this verification process our sources outline is, well, it's almost hard to wrap your head around.
It really is wild when you look at the numbers.
Seriously. If we look at the baseline data from Bright Local's 2026 Local Consumer Review Survey, 97% of consumers read local business reviews.
Which is basically everyone.
Essentially everyone who uses the internet, yeah. But here's the stat that actually made me do a double take. The average consumer checks 6 different review sites before making a final choice.
6.
6. Like Yelp, Google, Facebook, Trustpilot, the Better Business Bureau. I mean, who has the time or the mental energy for that?
It sounds utterly exhausting on paper. I mean, if you told someone they had to read 6 different dossiers before buying a sandwich, they'd tell you that's absurd.
Right, I just starve.
But we do it almost subconsciously,
Yeah.
because the underlying stakes matter deeply to us.
The States, yeah.
At its core, this behavior isn't about finding a business with a beautifully optimized web page or, like, the cleverest logo.
So what is it about?
Well, all of this manic searching, all of this cross-referencing across 6 different platforms, it's an attempt by our brains to answer one very primal, deeply human question. Does choosing this business feel safe?
Safe. Wow. That feels like a very intense word when we're just talking about picking a dry cleaner or figuring out where to grab tacos on a Tuesday.
It does sound intense, but safety in the modern consumer context is incredibly multi-layered.
How so?
Well, if you're hiring that emergency plumber we just talked about, or a contractor who is literally going to rip open the walls of your house, physical safety and legitimate credentials are the immediate priority.
Right, you need to know they aren't going to accidentally burn the house down.
Exactly. But consumer safety also involves protecting your money, your precious free time, your convenience, and even your social capital.
Wait, social capital, like my reputation?
Yeah, think about it. If you take the lead on picking a restaurant for a massive family reunion, and the place turns out to be a total disaster with terrible food and rude service,
Oh, I'd never hear the end of it.
right, your personal reputation takes a hit, you feel responsible. So people are frantically looking for patterns of evidence to mitigate all of those varied risks before they commit.
That makes total sense, actually. We are fundamentally risk-averse creatures trying to survive the digital jungle.
Perfectly said.
So let's talk about the very first filter people use to assess that safety, the star rating and the sheer volume of those reviews.
In big numbers.
Yeah, the Bright Local data shows that 92% of people care about star ratings. 31% absolutely demand at least a 4.5, and 68% require at least a 4.0.
Those are high standards.
They really are. But the data makes a massive point that it's not just about chasing a mathematically perfect 5.0, is it?
Not at all.
It's heavily weighted by how many people are actually in the room voting.
Because the raw score is essentially meaningless without the context of the crowd, quality and quantity are locked together in this equation.
You can't have one without the other.
Right. A perfect score without volume actually triggers our internal alarm bells.
Yeah. The way I've always thought about this, a perfect 5-star rating with only 3 reviews is like walking past an empty restaurant.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right. Like they've got a giant neon sign out front flashing best food in town, but you look through the window and every single chair is empty.
And the waiter is just like staring into space.
Exactly. You are immediately suspicious. You assume those 3 reviews are the owner's mom, his cousin, and like a fake account.
Yep.
But a 4.7 rating with 400 reviews, that is a packed house with a line out the door. You don't care at all that it's not a perfect 5 because the sheer mass of the crowd is validating the experience.
You just think, well, 400 people can't be wrong.
Exactly. What's the data say about that?
What's fascinating here is how perfectly the data backs up your empty restaurant analogy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 47% of consumers will flat out refuse to even consider a business if it has fewer than 20 reviews.
Wow. 20 is the baseline.
It seems to be. That perfectly sterile, flawless 5.0 with 3 reviews actually feels significantly less proven and therefore less safe than the 4.7 with hundreds of varied experiences.
Because it's tested.
Right. And the psychology goes deeper than just looking at the raw numbers. 56% of consumers are digging into the text, looking specifically for a pattern of consistent sentiment.
A pattern over isolated praise. So if I'm looking at, say, a boutique clothing brand, and one person named John S. leaves a glowing, novel-length review about how amazing the shirts are.
Which is nice, sure.
It is nice, but it doesn't magically cancel out the 5 other people complaining that their shipping took a month and customer service ghosted them.
Exactly. We are remarkably savvy when we want to be. Consumers are scanning these platforms to see if multiple independent strangers mention the exact same strengths or the exact same critical flaws.
Like checking if everyone raves about the friendly front desk staff.
Or if everyone complains that the parking lot is a total nightmare. They want consistency to build a predictable model of what will happen to them. And frankly, this entire ecosystem relies heavily on ethical guardrails, which the sources make a point to highlight.
Yeah, platforms like Google have implemented incredibly strict contribution policies to protect this psychological ecosystem.
They have to.
Our sources make a big point of this. You absolutely cannot buy reviews. You can't, offer a 10% discount on their next visit or a free appetizer in exchange for a positive review.
You really can't. You can't even engage in review gating.
Oh, wait, review gating?
Yeah, it's where a business selectively directs only their happy customers to public review sites while funneling the unhappy ones to, like, a private internal feedback form.
Oh, sneaky.
Google considers that heavily incentivized and dangerously biased. The trust system instantly collapses if the feedback isn't an authentic, unvarnished reflection of real experiences.
So you can't curate it.
Right. The goal of a business shouldn't be to engineer a flawless, artificially perfect profile. The goal is to build a highly believable, resilient reputation.
A believable reputation. That's a great way to frame it. But I have to push back a little here, or at least play the sympathetic ear for all the business owners out there.
Go for it.
Isn't this just exhausting? I mean, if a local hardware store has been delivering amazing service for 15 straight years, and they have 500 glowing reviews.
Yeah, solid history.
Right. Why does a quiet month where maybe nobody happens to leave a review suddenly make them look suspicious? Why is that historical goodwill just evaporate so fast?
This raises an important question about how human memory and digital trust intersect. Trust, unfortunately, have a startlingly short expiration date.
Short. Like how short?
Well, the Bright Local survey found that 74% of consumers only care about reviews written in the past 3 months.
3 months. Okay.
And a massive chunk, nearly a third, 32%, are entirely discounting anything written longer than 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. That's practically yesterday. I mean, if I don't check my mail for 2 weeks, nothing fundamentally changes about my house. Why are we so obsessed with the immediate present?
Because we intuitively understand how fragile operational competence is. Old reviews show your history. They prove you existed, you had a lease, and you did a good job 3 years ago.
Okay. Fair.
But recent reviews are the only thing that proves your current competence. In the consumer's mind, a lot can happen in a month.
But like management changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did the business change ownership? Did the head chef quit? Are they currently dealing with a massive supply chain issue or being dangerously short-staffed?
Oh, I see.
A glowing 5-star essay from 2023 provides zero reassurance to someone looking to book a critical service today. They need to know what happens if they walk through those doors right now.
Wow. So review generation is not like a one-and-done marketing campaign you run in Q1 and just forget about.
Definitely not.
It's a relentless, ongoing operational responsibility. You need a steady drip of fresh feedback just to prove you are still functioning at a high level.
You really do.
And the sources also highlight that this isn't a one-way street either. Customers aren't just lurking and reading what other reviewers say.
Right. They are actively watching how the business talks back. The demand for dialogue is huge.
The demand is undeniable. I mean, 89% of consumers actively expect business owners to respond to reviews.
89%.
Yeah, and 80% state they are significantly more likely to choose a business that actually responds to all of them.
It demonstrates that management is present. They are listening to the crowd, and they actually care about the final outcome of the transaction.
But there is a massive, incredibly common trap here that the data warns about.
Oh, the templates?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. The business owner gets overwhelmed, so they set up an automated system. And the data points out that using generic templated replies, those copy-paste blocks that say, "Dear customer, thank you for your feedback. We value your business."
Ugh, I hate those.
Right. It actually makes 50% of consumers less likely to choose that business.
Because it operates as the digital equivalent of a blank, uncaring stare. When a customer writes a thoughtful paragraph about their experience and receives a robotic template in return, it just signals a complete lack of empathy.
It feels insulting.
It does. Google's own guidelines explicitly recommend replying thoughtfully and uniquely. Think of a response to a negative review as a billboard for your conflict resolution skills.
A billboard for conflict resolution, that's good.
A calm, personalized response to criticism gives every future customer crucial psychological context. It subtly tells them, hey, if something goes completely wrong with my order, this owner isn't going to yell at me or ignore me. This is how they handle adversity.
You address the specifics, maybe use their first name. And if it's a really messy, complicated dispute, you acknowledge the frustration publicly so you don't look avoidant.
Yes, never hide from it.
But you move the actual resolution offline. Like, "I'm so sorry we lost your reservation. Please call me directly at this number so I can personally make this right."
Perfect.
You demonstrate accountability without turning your Google Maps listing into a public airing of dirty laundry.
It's all about projecting calm professionalism under pressure. Future customers are judging your emotional intelligence just as much as your product.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because, okay, we've got our volume, we've got our pattern of good sentiment, our reviews are from this week, and the owner is writing beautifully empathetic responses.
The perfect setup.
Right. A customer sees all this on a review site, they're feeling safe, their risk aversion is dropping, they are ready to hand over their credit card, right? The 7-second trust test is passed.
Not even close.
Not even close. I love this part of the data because after reading a positive review that checks all those boxes, 66% of people do not buy or book immediately.
They don't.
They keep researching. 54% leave the review site and head over to the business's actual website.
Yep.
And another 24% immediately go hunt down their social media channels.
This is the critical pivot. A glowing review isn't the finish line for the consumer. It is the starting gun for a full-blown investigation.
Yes. They instantly turn into detective consumers. They are conducting a proof-of-life check across the broader web.
A proof-of-life check, exactly.
They've heard what the crowd says. Now they want to see what the business says about itself. So what happens when they land on that website? What are the specific triggers that instantly kill that hard-earned credibility?
Well, if we look at the usability insights from the Nielsen-Norman Group, it is rarely a lack of expensive, flashy design that drives people away.
So it's not about having a super slick site.
No, it's the tiny, seemingly insignificant friction points that introduce massive subconscious doubt.
Like what?
Simple spelling typos on the homepage, broken image links,
Wow.
a copyright date in the footer that says 2017.
Oh, that's the worst. 2017.
Right. Our brains are evolutionarily wired to spot anomalies when we are assessing risk. A broken link isn't just a technical glitch. To the consumer's brain, it's a signal of abandonment and carelessness.
And Google's own page experience guidance reinforces this from a technical SEO perspective, too.
They do, heavily.
They emphasize fundamental trust signals like HTTPS security. I mean, we all know that feeling. If I click a link and my browser throws up a giant red warning that says site not secure, I am bouncing immediately.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not sticking around to see if their cupcakes are good.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And they also demand mobile usability because everyone is conducting this 7-second test on their phones while standing in line for coffee.
Right. Nobody is sitting at a desktop for this.
And they penalize intrusive pop-ups because they break the user's concentration and just feel predatory.
You really do. So the website's primary job at this stage of the journey isn't to dazzle. It is to carry the trust forward without dropping it.
Exactly. Within a fraction of a second, a user needs to understand what you do, the specific area you serve, and exactly how to contact you. If they have to hunt through 3 different menus just to find a phone number,
They're gone.
the cognitive friction spikes and the trust just evaporates.
And speaking of phone numbers, the sources bring up something that is an absolute conversion killer. I call it the inconsistency trap.
Oh, this is a big one.
Imagine this. A customer finds you on Yelp, and it says you open at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Then they click over to your Facebook page to see some recent photos, and the banner there says you open at 10 a.m.
Oh, no.
Then they check your official website, and it boldly claims by appointment only. That tiny discrepancy introduces immediate visceral panic.
It creates panic because it shatters the illusion of operational control. The customer immediately wonders, are they even still in business? Did they close down during the pandemic?
It's a proxy for competence. If you can't manage to update your own opening hours, how on earth am I going to trust you to successfully manage my complex tax return or, fix the brakes on my car?
You won't. And this isn't merely about avoiding a frustrating user experience, though that is obviously vital.
Right?
Accurate, consistent information is a foundational local SEO requirement. Google's algorithms explicitly state that businesses with complete, accurate, and consistent information across the web are more likely to appear in local search results.
That makes sense.
Google's entire business model relies on serving its users the most reliable data possible. If your core data, your name, address, and phone number conflicts across major directories, the search engine itself loses confidence in you.
So they just hide you.
Basically,
Yeah.
your visibility drops because the algorithm doesn't want to risk sending a user to a closed store.
So it's a brutal double whammy. You introduce cognitive friction that loses the human customer's trust, and you simultaneously lose the algorithm's trust.
A lose-lose situation.
The lesson here is to audit your profiles constantly. Update those holiday hours everywhere, not just on the one social platform you personally happen to scroll through the most.
Yeah, and that proof of life check extends incredibly heavily into those social media platforms, by the way.
Right, that 24% of people.
When they click over to your Instagram or your Facebook page, they aren't necessarily expecting you to be a daily viral sensation with trending audio.
Thank goodness.
But if they see 9 months of total silence, comment sections full of unanswered questions, or a pinned post advertising a Valentine's Day special when it's currently mid-August.
It creates unnecessary friction.
Massive friction.
It's the literal proof of life check. Like, are they still alive in there? They just want to see a pulse.
Exactly. They want to see a recent photo of real employees, maybe a quick behind-the-scenes look at a process.
It proves the business is actively operating, engaging with the community, and capable of delivering the experience it promises on its website.
And consistency of presence matters far more than the sheer frequency of posts.
Really?
Oh yeah. Posting aggressively 3 times a day for a week and then vanishing into thin air for 6 months is actually much more jarring to a consumer than just maintaining a quiet, steady cadence of one relevant, high-quality update every week.
Okay, so let's synthesize this. Let's say the facts all match up perfectly.
Okay, best case scenario.
The hours are identical across 6 platforms, the address is aligned, the social media has a steady pulse, the website is secure and loads fast. The final test in this rapid-fire evaluation, according to our sources, is whether the vibe matches. We're moving from the factual cross-check to the subconscious glue of branding.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, branding is so much more than picking a visually pleasing color palette and a modern font.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It is the subconscious glue that holds this entire disjointed 6-platform journey together in the consumer's mind.
I always think of this like a movie soundtrack.
Oh, how so?
Well, when the sweeping orchestral music perfectly matches the emotional scene on screen, you don't even really notice the music. You just feel the emotion. It glues the experience together.
Right.
But if you're watching a tense, terrifying horror movie and suddenly the soundtrack switches to upbeat circus clown music,
That would be bizarre.
your brain completely rejects the reality of the movie. It breaks the immersion entirely. That's what happens when branding fractures across platforms.
That is a perfect analogy for cognitive dissonance in marketing. Think about the user journey we just mapped out.
Oh.
They start on a highly structured, utilitarian Google Maps listing. Then they click over to a visual, engaging Instagram page. Then they click the link in the bio to land on the informational website.
Bouncing around.
If the visual quality of the images, the professional tone of voice, or the core messaging changes wildly from step to step, if the soundtrack suddenly switches to circus music, the user experiences that exact cognitive dissonance.
They literally pause and ask themselves, wait, did I click the wrong link? Is this even the same company I was just reading about?
Exactly.
Right. If I'm looking for a high-end, expensive financial advisor and their website is incredibly sleek, minimalist, and trust-inspiring,
Please, what do you want?
but then I click to their Facebook page and it's full of pixelated memes, Comic Sans, font, and chaotic, unformatted rants, the identity is fractured. The trust is gone.
Completely gone. The visual identity and the implicit promise of the business must remain instantly recognizable everywhere.
It has to be uniform.
A professional services firm needs to project expertise and calm clarity across every single touch point. A family entertainment venue should consistently project high energy, fun, and safety. If the branding fractures, the trust fractures with it.
The sources actually provide a really actionable, simple strategy to prevent this, which I think is incredibly valuable.
The brand guide.
Yes. They recommend creating a centralized brand guide. And this doesn't have to be some pretentious 100-page corporate manifesto that sits in a drawer somewhere.
No one reads those anyway.
Right. It can literally be a one-pager. It houses your correct, high-resolution logo files, the exact hex codes for your brand colors, your 2 core fonts, and maybe 3 bullet points on your tone of voice.
Keep it simple. And the absolute most crucial part of that strategy is distributing that guide to anyone and everyone who touches your public presence.
So everyone on the team.
Yes, the part-time employee answering Yelp reviews, the freelance web developer fixing your site, the social media manager, they all need to be operating from the exact same sheet of music.
Makes sense.
Because as we've seen, trust is a deeply interconnected system. It is not a single marketing asset. A fantastic review might get them to click your link, but a broken booking page or a disjointed social feed kicks them right back out to your competitor.
So what does this all mean for you? How do you actually apply the mechanics of this 7-second trust test to your own world?
This is the practical part.
The sources suggest an incredibly practical exercise. Imagine you are opening an incognito browser window right now.
Yeah.
You want it private so your own search history doesn't artificially bias the results.
Important detail. Yeah.
And you search for your business or the company you work for. You do it on your desktop, and then you pull out your phone and do it on mobile.
You are intentionally hunting for the friction. You are role-playing the detective consumer.
Exactly. You systematically check the 7 signals we've just unpacked. You look at your review patterns. Are people describing consistent experiences?
You check the star volume.
Mhm.
Do you have enough voices to make that 4.6 believable?
You look at recency. Has anyone reviewed you this month, and are you replying to them like a human being?
You hunt for info accuracy.
Yeah.
Do your hours actually match across Google, Yelp, and your site?
You test website quality. Is it secure, fast, and easy to navigate?
You check for social proof of life. Is there a recent pulse?
And finally, you evaluate branding consistency. Does it look and sound like the exact same company everywhere?
You need to ruthlessly write down every single point of doubt you experience doing this.
Every little thing.
Every time you hesitate to click, every time you get confused about a link, that is exactly the spot where you are bleeding potential customers.
And it's worth noting, the sources mention that if you conduct this audit and find massive gap, like if you're getting plenty of search views, but nobody is actually calling you, agencies like Socially Buzz offer consultations to help businesses identify and fix these exact digital customer experience leaks.
It's really all about patching the leaks in that trust system. But if we zoom out to the broader horizon, there is one final, incredibly provocative concept buried in the research, that completely changes the paradigm we just discussed.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
The sources briefly note that consumers are already beginning to adopt AI-generated summaries in their search behavior.
Yes.
Instead of manually reading 20 disparate reviews, they're simply reading the AI's synthesized paragraph at the very top of the search results.
Right. The AI basically reads the crowd for you.
Exactly. Which leaves us with a wild thought to mull over. Right now, human beings are doing all this manual, laborious cross-checking.
We're doing the heavy lifting.
We are the ones bouncing across 6 different sites, verifying the opening hours, hunting for recent photos, and evaluating the emotional intelligence of the owner's responses to build that pattern of trust.
So what changes?
Well, what happens to the 7-second trust test when AI assistants start synthesizing all 7 of these complex signals for us instantly? If an AI can verify your review sentiment pattern, cross-check your hours across the entire web, audit your website for broken links, and read your social media polls before you even see a single star rating, does the 7 seconds shrink to 0?
Shrinking to 0.
Does consumer trust become entirely algorithmic, decided before a human ever clicks your profile?
That is a staggering thing to consider as we watch the digital landscape shift underneath us.
It changes everything.
Because whether it's a human brain doing the detective work or an AI instantly making the call, the underlying data, the reality of how you actually treat your customers and present your business, still has to be fundamentally solid.
There's no faking it either way.
The muddy waters might be clearing up with technology, but you still have to make sure what's under the surface is undeniably safe, competent, and ready to go. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been great.
We hope we've given you the tools to be the most well-informed person in the room today. Keep looking for those patterns, fix those broken links, and we'll catch you next time.